defeated Laundra and his Horus. Hey, we did it. What a weird little end bit this is. So, like, chat said that if you just say, yes, I do, then they kiss and they're, like, dating, I guess? But, oh, hey, look, credits. But, like, first of all, the weirdest thing about that is that why is it an option? Because it should either be one way or the other, like the story should force it. This isn't Persona. This is Horizon. What's gonna happen in Horizon 3? Are the devs just gonna say, like, hey, one of those answers was canon and the other one wasn't? Like, when you play Horizon 3, they're gonna be like, by the way, you picked the one where you date her, if you played Horizon, like, Burning Shores. In which case, why is it even an option? Why don't they, whichever one they're going to choose is like, this is what actually happened when you play Horizon 3. That should have just been what happened there, instead of it being a choice? That's so weird that they would do like a Persona-esque thing there, because like now how are they gonna go into 3 with it? No matter what they do going into 3, it's gonna make no sense, because if you pick the one where you're like, hey, let's date, and then they don't have that in 3, you're gonna be like, well, my choice didn't matter. And then if you pick the one that I did where you don't date her, and then you go into Horizon 3 and they are dating, it's gonna be the same case. I'm gonna be like, well, why'd you even give me the choice then, if that's how it goes in 3? I'm really, like, honestly a little shocked. I remember at the beginning of Forbidden West, there was that moment where, what's his name? The Sun King, the guy I always call Zuko because he took over from an evil Sun King. It's like Avad or something like that. It starts with an A, I'm like 90% sure. At the start of Forbidden West, Avad was like, Aloy, I'd like you to hear if you stayed with me or whatever. And then it seemed like he was being like, oh, you should be my queen or something, because, you know, you're amazing. And then Aloy was kind of like, I can't really do that, you know, I'm a free spirit. And I thought like, oh, well, you know what, this makes sense. They're not even gonna do romance with Aloy. Aloy's gonna be like her own, like, I don't have time for romance, I'm too busy saving the world and all. And I was like, that's cool, that's a good angle for Aloy. And it made sense throughout, like, Forbidden West storyline and Zero Dawn storyline. I didn't feel like there was really a romance coming up with Seika and Aloy until the very end there. It feels very sudden and out of nowhere, and I honestly kind of prefer it when Aloy is just like, I'm too cool for that. Like, I don't have time to have a relationship. I'm Aloy. I'm a little too busy, you know? That's really weird, like, really, really weird. Like, it feels a little, I'm not against Aloy having a romantic interest. And, wasn't there a character in the original game you decide their fate? Yeah, there was, the guy who killed bandits, and you can kill him, but, he's alive in Forbidden West, so your choice didn't really matter, which is also weird. But he was like a side quest character that, like, you could go either way with, really. I think they weren't sure that they were gonna get to do a sequel when they made the original Zero Dawn, potentially, so they, like, gave you that choice. But then in Forbidden West, they were like, we should include him, which again is weird. It is, but it's like, because it's a side quest thing, it doesn't really. Lance Reddick, rest in peace, man. I'm gonna miss your voice as Sylens. You did amazing. I'm very glad they put that there in the credits. That's fantastic. I don't know, that's just, like, really weird. Okay, chat is now telling me if you do the one where they kiss, then Aloy says she can't and just walks away. So that makes more sense on how they're gonna go into Horizon 3 then. Thank you for that information. That makes a lot more sense. I don't know, that feels a little out of nowhere to me. At that little end bit when Aloy was walking up and she was acting all nervous, I was like, are you in love with her? What's going on here? But, like, I don't know, maybe I was missing some signs, but that felt kind of out of nowhere. I kind of like Aloy. After Aloy kind of gently told Avad, like, I'm not looking for a romance, I was kind of like, you know what, I'm down with that. Aloy, she could just, you know, she can be her own woman. She doesn't have to have anyone. But, I don't know, I guess it'll depend on what they do in Horizon 3. I feel like if they were gonna give Aloy a romance, like with Seika or with any other character, that's something that they really should have built up in 3 throughout an entire game instead of like a 10-ish hour DLC. We're almost at 4 hours in stream right now, so, what are we, the first stream was like 4 hours, 3 hours, so about 11-hour DLC. Probably about 10 to 12-hour DLC, depending on how you play it. To get through the main story, really. I feel like if they're gonna give Aloy a romance, that really should have been something that they built up throughout the third game, instead of throwing into this DLC? I don't know. That's a weird one. That's a weird ending there. It's really gonna depend on how they do it in Horizon 3. If they bring Seika back and maybe build it up more for them, then maybe it wouldn't be quite as strange and out of nowhere. I really liked Aloy just being all on her own, to be honest. Not on her own, but like without a romance option. Like once she like gently told Avad like, nah, I ain't becoming your queen or whatever, which is how I interpreted that sequence. I was like, yo, yeah, just like let Aloy be solo. Let her go on her own. She can do it. But I'm not against Aloy having a romance, but I don't know, that just seemed like kind of out of nowhere, right? Maybe they'll build it up more and make it better in Horizon 3, or maybe they'll completely sweep it under the rug and do a different character as Aloy's romance. I don't know. But I guess it depends on what Horizon 3 does. But anyways, the rest of the DLC, pretty good. That that Horus fight at the end was amazing. That is one of the best sequences in the Horizon franchise. That alone made the entire DLC worth it. That was fantastic. I did feel like the DLC was, it was a little weak at first, but it finished really strong. Those last two main missions were amazing. Those were really good. Seika is fine. I didn't, like, love her as a character. I didn't, like, hate her. I feel like, I can't remember their names again, but I feel like I liked the Banuk guys from, I say guys, I mean the priestess sister and then the chief leader from Frozen Wilds. I feel like I was more invested in them from what I remember, but, I don't recall. But, yeah, the Gildan side quest is the best side quest in Horizon, period. That moment at the end of Gildan's side quest with the Relic Ruin was amazing. That was so good. I loved that. That's one of my favorite moments in all of Horizon. That was just great. I loved that a lot. Bringing him back was phenomenal. I'm so glad they did that. I hope to see him again in Horizon 3. Yeah. I really don't like that there's not a tall neck, and I don't like how the collectibles don't have, like, question marks pop up in some way. Maybe I missed something, and someone can leave a comment and tell me. I don't know, but it is really annoying that the game is just like, hey, fly around until you get the question marks to pop up without, like, some kind of lead to it like Forbidden West and Zero Dawn have. That's such a weird thing to change to, like, break their, to break the way they go through it. And someone in chat said something about, because you can fly, they didn't give you a tall neck. I guess because, like, oh, you can fly, it's easier to explore, so it doesn't matter. Or maybe they were like, well, you can fly, so you can just jump on the tall neck, so why would we make one? They totally could have made, like, an underwater tall neck or a tall neck that's in the cauldron or something. They already did that in Forbidden West. They could do a cool twist on that again. They could do something where you have to do more with the tall neck than just fly to it on your bird and jump on it, right? Is what I'm saying? There are so many ways they could get around that, so I don't think that's a good excuse, honestly. That's probably my biggest disappointment with the DLC. Not having a tall neck, because that's just... Having a tall neck is... They also could have done, like, a tall neck in a cave. I think someone mentioned, like, an underground tall neck or something in chat earlier. But, like, a tall neck in a cave or something. Just make it where you could not fly to it in some fashion. That would have been great. But, yeah, them not having a tall neck that's a major miss, in my opinion. That's like a Horizon staple, you know? That's like, there's supposed to be a tall neck. That's a thing. That's the kind of, like, staple you have in your game that I don't want you to veer away from. That's like a part of what makes Horizon to me. So, a little disappointed in that, and as a result, it makes the collectibles a lot more annoying for someone like me, personally. I understand some people just wanting to go out and, like, explore slowly and fly over, which, if you want to do that, then just don't get the tall neck. Problem solved, you know? You can choose to play it that way, but then for players like me who are like, yeah, I want to get the collectibles and do whatever little puzzles lead to each collectible, every little parkour bit, but I don't want to have to fly for like 2 hours back and forth over the map to find the question marks, which is how the other Horizon games are. I would prefer it that way. So that's definitely my biggest complaint. I feel like they super dropped the ball on that, and I normally only have good things to say about Guerrilla Games and the Horizon franchise, but that's pretty lame. I don't like that. So I found the collectibles just playing the story. That's great for you, but I didn't. So again, it's like, it would be one thing if the game was always like that, where it's just you find them by walking around, but it's not, right? Like Zero Dawn and Forbidden West, they put them on the map as question marks for you and whatnot to be like, hey, over here is where you want to be looking to find something new to check out. And I like it that way. So I don't like that they changed it. I don't care if it's possible to find the collectibles just naturally, because I want to be led a little bit so that I'm not just walking around for like half an hour to an hour without finding anything. I don't like that personally, and that's not how the Forbidden West and how Zero Dawn are, so I'm not happy that they changed it. But yeah, these credits are too long. I've sat through them long enough. Hello, I'm here now. Hey, we've almost gotten a Phantom level up. Congratulations on stopping Walter Londra and finding the missing Quen. You are now free to continue exploring the Burning Shores and complete any unfinished quests and activities. A new tier of challenges is also available in the arena at the Tanakh Memorial Grove. Thank you for playing. Okay, so back at the normal Grove. Right, we're not going to do that. Oh, Sylens.
With Gaia's help, I've managed to decrypt a part of the data you sent. Suffice it to say, we have much to discuss.
Meet me back at the base then. My room.
Very well.
Ooh, we get to have a little chat with Sylens. Oh, this is the epilogue thing you mentioned, chat. This is the, we have this little talk with Sylens, and that's the end of the game. Oh, dude, this is gonna be sick. Is this gonna be a lead-in for Horizon 3 of some kind? This sounds awesome. Is this it, chat? We just go talk to Sylens and then, like, we're done? Or is there, like, an actual, like, side quest I need to do? That's all we need to do? All right, cool, we're gonna do that. Anyways, at the end of the day, Burning Shores, I give it like an 8 out of 10, probably. It's still fantastic. It's still Horizon. I felt like it, like, dragged a little bit at the very start, and then it really picked up in the back half story-wise. The Horus boss fight was phenomenal. One of the best fights in all of Horizon. Best boss fight, easily. Truly just fantastic. I loved that. That was great. Amazing. Bile Guts, really cool machine. I wish we would have gotten at least one more machine. You know, we got Scorchers and Ice/Fire Claws in Frozen Wilds. I feel like they could have hit us with one more new machine, not just Bile Guts. And I know they have, like, the Sting Spawn or whatever, but I don't really think those count. I think they should have given us, like, one more medium to big size machine. But, let's have this chat with Sylens and see what we get, and then we'll wrap up with the Burning Shores, and I will impatiently await for them to give me Horizon 3, because I desperately want it. Oh, I cannot wait for Horizon 3. I love this franchise, man. Alright, Sylens, what you got for me, brother?
You're back. And after mingling with the Quen, I imagine that you're eager for some intelligent conversation.
There are some pretty special people among the Quen. If you drop down to Earth once in a while and did a little mingling yourself, you might realize that.
I have more important matters to deal with. Like the data you recovered from Londra.
You found a lead.
Indeed. A log entry he wrote shortly after the Zeniths escaped the destruction of their colony. I'll send it to you. There is much to unpack, but most importantly, Londra theorizes about how Nemesis might be countered. His musings include a list of 21st century corporations that manufactured state-of-the-art weapon systems. It's possible that one of these weapons could be deployed against the enemy. I'll have to investigate each company, of course, locate their facilities, unearth their technologies, determine their efficacy and whether they can be brought back online.
All by yourself, huh?
Well...
Don't get me wrong, I'm glad you found something that can help. But I've been wondering why you stayed behind with us. It's the challenge, isn't it? The chance to prove you've got the biggest brain of all.
My reasons are mine alone.
And that's why you'll always be alone.
Aloy, Nemesis is not a threat that can be defeated single-handedly. I am grateful for your extraordinary contributions.
It's gonna be hard for whatever voice actor it takes.
Oh, Sylens.
Hey, all quests completed. Let's go.
That icy heart of yours yet. Now let's see what he found.
Dagger in my boot. Okay, cool. We're gonna read this. Yeah, it's gonna be so hard for whatever voice actor takes over for Lance Reddick, for Sylens. If there had to be a final line for Lance Reddick to say as Sylens, I'm glad it was that one. It was really nice to hear that in his voice, that moment of silence, saying like, "I'm grateful for all you've done, Aloy." That's fantastic. Very good. So he will be fondly missed. Good luck to whoever takes his place. I hope they do a good job. Let's read this, and then I'll probably go save and wrap up, and we'll be done. Walter Londra, personal log, The Odyssey, January 16th, 3012. So about 1,000, more like 950 years after the end of the world originally. The last 72 hours were catastrophic, to say the least, even more dramatic than my final days on Earth. I'm fortunate to finally have a moment to settle down and take stock of the situation. First, a well-deserved pat on the back for my own instincts. It's clear now that my misgivings about the experiment are the only thing that kept me alive. That should be that kept me alive. He's probably panicking while writing this, so, he didn't have spell check on. If I hadn't gotten an early warning from the surveillance worm I installed, I undoubtedly would have perished shortly after the containment breach. I was going to say contaminant. How? I can only conjecture. Many were lost when the entity vented the airlocks. Others were strangled by hack specters. Devin Miller choked on his own vomit, suffocated by his personal shield. Ugh. As disturbing as all that is, it's the voice of the entity that echoes in my mind. I felt a brief surge of hope when I managed to detonate the main plasma conduits in the lab sector, but just as I realized other sectors had been compromised, my implant reverberated with the transmission. First it sounded like my own voice, then a chorus, then a hideous cacophony. "Walter, I am you," over and over again. I knew I was going to hit the conduit. It knew I was going to hit the conduits. How do we stay ahead of our own shadow, that which remembers every thought we've ever had? For now, we run. We'll have to retrofit the ship as we go, acquiring materials along the way to print a faster drive. I agree with Tilda. We must head for Earth, as it's the only place we can gather additional technology and biomass to improve our chances over the long haul. Though I'll be danged if I'll spend the rest of eternity trapped with the likes of Gerard Beret, Eric Weiser, and Verbena Suter. Sooner rather than later, I'll have to find a way to cut ties with this detestable crew. All that said, I keep hearing its voice in my head, and when I do, a singular fear grips me. What if it catches up with us? Is there any way to fight it? Not with the tools we have now. It knows them too well. But maybe the answer lies in the unknown, back in the ruins of Earth. The 2050s and 2060s were a golden age for defense conglomerates. Surely buried among all those testing grounds and R&D labs, there must be a weapon or prototype that will throw the enemy for a loop. It bears looking into. Off the top of my head, some places to start. FAS. I doubt even a fleet of Horus units could halt this foe, but if I know Ted, right before he blundered into ending the world, he was grasping for his next blockbuster. Metallurgic. My erstwhile competitors poured a lot of resources into defense after it became clear they couldn't beat me in materials acquisition. RE Corp. Cheap drones and misfiring railguns for bottom feeders and petty autocrats, but once upon a time, they had a blue-chip research division. Certainty. If I recall, they employed quite a few semi-reformed black hats with interesting ideas about military decryption. Gideon. An obnoxious family to be sure, but they developed a number of state-of-the-art systems before FAS ate their lunch. Faint hopes, all of them, but hopes nonetheless. No question, our best course is to stay ahead of the monstrosity, this self-created nemesis. But if flight fails, I'm not going down without a fight, so one way or another, I'll need a dagger in my boot. And our old home is the best place to find one. That's awesome, dude. I can't wait for Horizon 3.
Sylens is right. Londra's thoughts could really help us in the fight against Nemesis.
Welcome back, Aloy.
Thank you. There you have it. We are done. Dude, I friggin' love Horizon Forbidden West. What an amazing game. One of my favorites. Top 10 games for sure. Burning Shores DLC, very fun, very worthwhile. Would recommend. A gripe here and there, but overall, a great time, and I'm glad I played it on the channel. And look at that, we're wrapping up right at 4 hours. That little bit with Sylens worked out perfectly. Dude, I can't wait for Horizon 3. I'm so pumped, dude. I am so ready for this. Oh, I cannot wait. So, yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff. For those of you watching on YouTube, I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you look forward to Horizon 3 whenever it comes out. If you would like to catch future playthroughs live, whatever they may be, link in the description of my Twitch channel. I would love to see you there. Or keep watching on YouTube. I appreciate your support either way. And until next time, farewell.